Welcome to the College Admissions Collaborative, highlighting engineering and technology's virtual college fair. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Before we get started with our presentations, just a few quick housekeeping items. The first is that attendees are welcome and encouraged to ask questions to the panelists at any time utilizing the Q&A feature. Also, just a reminder that your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists will not be able to see or hear you. There are 2 other blocks of sessions this evening, as well as sessions tomorrow, so please do sign up for those if you haven't already done so. And about 1 week from today, a recording of this session will be available on that same registration website. But without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to our panelists, Purdue University.
All right, thank you, Christopher. I just want to do a quick introduction and then we'll get into our presentations. My name is Ryan Kirchner. I'm the Associate Director of Recruitment for the Polytechnic Institute at Purdue University.
Hi, and my name's Amy Glenn. I'm the Associate Director of the Office of Future Engineers at Purdue. I'll turn it back over to Ryan, who's going to start us off on our presentations tonight.
All right, thank you, Amy. I just want to get our presentation going. So welcome. We're from Purdue University. I just want to do a quick overview of the university as we get going. We are a land grant public research one university in West Lafayette, Indiana. We are a great college town, so it's a fun community here. We're about an hour north of Indianapolis and about 2 hours south of Chicago. U.S. News and World Report has ranked Purdue the #5 most innovative university in America, and number 53 overall among all institutions, and then number 17 among public institutions, and this was back in fall 2020. We have approximately 34,000 undergraduate students that make up our over 200 bachelor's degree programs across our 11 academic colleges, and you can see more info about our majors that are listed at that website there. We boast a 13-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio with an average class size of 30 students. And outside of the classroom, you have over 1,000 clubs and student organizations to get involved in. We are a member of the Big Ten Athletic Conference, so tons of great sports going on campus here. And then one thing I really want to highlight is our 10 straight years of frozen tuition at the 2020, 2012, 2013 levels, and that's frozen through the 2022-2023 academic year, which really helps our students, and 59% of them graduate debt-free from the university. For more information about our admissions process, go to admissions.purdue.edu, and then just more info about Purdue, purdue.edu, and then there's an About section at the top right of that screen. So just a quick overview of the university, and I'm going to get into my specialty, my area, the Purdue Polytechnic Institute, where we focus on hands-on education for real-world success. And we'll certainly get into what that means as we go through this overview and about our academic departments as well. So in the Polytechnic, we have over 30 majors, 34 to be exact, all Bachelor of Science degree programs, so your traditional 4-year degree. Sometimes people hear Polytechnic and think it's not necessarily a bachelor's degree, and it is here at the university. 80% of our courses in the undergraduate level are taught by faculty members, so they're industry experts. They've either been out in industry, still connected to industry, and teaching here, and doing a lot of research as well. So you're going to be learning from those experts the vast majority of your time in the programs. Our enrollment just over 5,100 students as of fall 2020. That includes undergraduate, graduate, and PhD level students. It's a record high enrollment that we've been having for 4 years in a row. So we're seeing more and more students choosing the Polytechnic for their degrees in technology. A little more detail about our enrollment. Fall 2020 undergraduate enrollment was just under 4,400, again, a record. You can see also the breakdown of our in-state, out-of-state, and international student populations, as well as our female to male split and underrepresented minority populations. We have a 20-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio here in the Polytechnic, and you can see our 6 different academic departments and the enrollment data per department. Speaking of our freshman class that just started with us this past fall, they graduated from high school with a 3.56 average GPA, 1265 average SAT, and 27.3 average ACT. So that's just kind of the data points of those academic profile for the students that typically start with us. You'll read on the admissions site that it's a very holistic review process, that they've learned about who you are as a student, what you've done in high school, along with your academics and that preparation that you have there. But this is just kind of give you an idea of the academic profile for our Polytechnic freshmen. All right, so going into the hands-on approach that we take with our Polytechnic degrees, the way that you learn with us, we have lecture sections of our classes where you'll learn about the theory and the science behind the technology field that you're studying, and then you'll apply those skills in our lab experiences. So you'll work with the same types of equipment, technology, software, business data, and logistics that are utilized out in industry. You're going to get those experiences in our lab so you can innovate and learn those skills and apply those skills. When you're done with your degree, you basically hit the ground running, knowing exactly what to do. You'll have lots of different research opportunities to innovate as well, working with our faculty members and dig deeper into that field that you're studying in our research labs, and projects that include industry clients. So typically this is going to be found in your senior capstone that you have as part of your plan of study, but there are also labs that are sponsored by industry clients as well. So you're going to interact with those companies and help them solve problems that they're dealing with in their industry right now. So it's a great way to learn, take all the skills you've learned and apply those into those different solutions you can create. We also want our students to think with a global perspective and knowing how technology is utilized around the world, as well as have good cultural awareness and communication skills. So we have some of those built into the plan of study, as well as some study abroad opportunities that I'll talk about here in a minute. And lastly, we want you to specialize in the area of study that you've chosen here with us. We have 6 academic departments that you saw from that enrollment slide, and there's a lot of majors, and some of them do overlap. So I always recommend taking a look at the plan of study for each major online, seeing the course descriptions, reading what's going to be taken for that degree, and really find the fit that works with your passions, your interests, and your career goals that you have after graduation. We also include a course called Tech 120, Design Thinking and Technology. So this is a course that introduces our freshmen, typically in that first year is when they take this, to the innovation and design process. So understanding a customer and the problems they're dealing with, analyzing and researching solutions, prototyping those solutions as well that could be implemented into that industry. So this is something to keep in mind as you go through all of your courses, and certainly when you go to that senior capstone project, when you're working with that company that sponsors that project, how do you innovate, how do you research, and how do you create those solutions? That's what this course is going to give you that background and foundational knowledge in. A lot of different experiences available on campus, especially with our faculty members, our professors, bring those theories to life in the classroom, outside of the classroom, in the labs, meeting with them in their office hours. Most of the faculty here in general are just regular down-to-earth people who have a passion for the technology field. So they're going to make sure you're successful and meet with you and connect with you in that mentor relationship. Same idea with our advisors, working with you on your plan of study, progressing towards your degree, or if you want to build in a minor, double major certificate program that are available on campus, they'll work with you on that. Mentioned before, 1,000 clubs and organizations. We have about 60 in the Polytechnic, so you can apply what you're learning into those organizations that are directly related to your academic field. Take on some leadership roles as well, and I think that's really important for this next piece of internships. Leadership roles to kind of give you that experience of leading teams and working with organizations, building your resume as well. And internships are now required, a part of our plan of study, a degree requirement for the Polytechnic. So we're going to help you find those, and I'll talk about how we help you in a minute, but it's really getting you out into the workforce, helping you understand how to transition what you've learned from your classes and labs into that real world experience as well. And then study abroad, as you might be aware, are on hold at this point in time, but we're hoping to bring those back in the near future. But we have what's called the Office of Globalization that helps our Polytechnic students go abroad for semester-long experiences, spring break trips, Maymesters, winter sessions, summer sessions as well, taking classes and bring those experiences back to Purdue for your plan of study, but also getting that good cultural experience and seeing other industry partners in different countries around the world as well. And then the success for our graduates from the Polytechnic. From May 2019's graduating class, 91.4% placement. That includes graduates who went on to full-time employment, graduate school, military service, or volunteer organizations. Average starting salary just under $61,000. And you'll see the placement percentages and average starting salaries for each department as we go through the rest of the department slides. And then you can see here this list of companies scrolling across the screen. Global companies, well known in a lot of different industries represented here that our graduates have gone on to work for, and you'll see the sample job titles there at the bottom of the screen as well. So I definitely recommend taking a look at our data dashboard. You can kind of dive deeper into our enrollment, as well as specific information about our different majors and their placement percentages and starting salary averages. And then I mentioned before internships and certainly what your next steps are after graduation. The Polytechnic has a college-wide career fair every February, as well as 3 or 4 of our academic departments hosting individual career fairs throughout the year as well. So you're going to be directly connected to industry partners. And one thing I always talk about too is our Center for Career Opportunities here at the university helps all Purdue students with their resume building, mock interview practice. They'll help you learn how to network and get you onto that next step, whether it's internships, co-ops, or when you're done with your degree, what are you going to do next? What's your career going to look like? We're going to help you with that process as well. Okay, so we get into our schools and departments. Our first is our aviation transportation technology. So Purdue does have an airport on campus, and in fact, it was the first university-run airport in the nation. So our students are working and immersed in that aviation industry right here on Purdue's campus. So it's whether our students are getting their hours in for professional flight or working with the airline and airport operations, building and working on the manufacturing of aircraft and maintaining the fleet that we have here, or in more the smaller scale, the unmanned aerial systems, you're going to be having those experiences at the airport and really getting immersed in that aviation industry. We have some experiences here that I don't think any other college can boast about in terms of some different aircraft and fleets options that are available to you, as well as a full motion Hawker simulator that doesn't exist at any other college or university. So great experiences here available for this department. And we have our first of two computing options, computer graphics technology. And this is where our students are learning to master the skills in different software programs that exist now. Some coding languages here available as well, but really getting that mastery in those software skills to build their resume, build their design portfolio, and really get out into these different industries. A few different entertainment realm areas: animation, game development design, and visual effects compositing. If you're looking to work in TV, film, or video games, it's a great experience and great opportunities here. And then some other opportunities that are more wide-based in a lot of different industries. Data visualization. We have a great data science program here at the university, and that's a really big part of that as well. More CAD work and virtual product integration, or designing websites for industry, any industry really, with that web programming and design. One big program we're seeing a lot of growth in is user experience as well. So apps for smartphones, software interfaces, really getting that human interaction with technology as well. Our second computing option is computer and information technology. So thinking of your IT professionals out in really any industry, again, represented in anywhere you want to go in terms of IT. Really learning how to integrate hardware and software, definitely taking some programming coursework as well, getting those coding languages, and then creating solutions for businesses and organizations utilizing that hardware and software integration. Great cybersecurity program as well, one of the few in the nation, few colleges in the nation that has an undergraduate degree in cybersecurity. If you're looking to potentially go into government agencies, or of course just keeping data secure for businesses and organizations in general. So this is a little bit different than a computer science program, still going to get that programming side of things, but also, again, the hardware and software integration is really important to this program. And then our School of Construction Management Technology is going to give you the hands-on experiences of what it actually is to build buildings. You're actually going to build a wood frame structure and a steel structure in our construction lab. You can actually operate a crane that's in that lab as well, so that's a pretty fun experience. We actually have an awesome simulator, so you can get that simulator experience of working with big equipment that Caterpillar likes to build, and our students are going to learn how to do that in that simulator that we have now. But then we're also then focused mostly on that management side. How do you put in bids for contracts and the finances and the materials that you're going to choose, and working with architects and engineers and developers on fulfilling that project as well. So this is one of those programs that has one of those career fairs for this department specifically, usually 2 every year. This is a very well-known, well-respected program around the world. Next up, our School of Engineering Technology. And Amy, I think we're going to have this question a little bit later on about what's the difference between engineering technology and the College of Engineering. So I think we'll get to that later. But really, we're focused on applying those engineering concepts in those lab experiences. So really understanding the design and then how things are put into practice, and really the innovation as well as the next generation of technology and engineering solutions come along. That's what our students are really focused on here. So a lot of options, as you can see, really focused in some electrical engineering technology umbrella with audio, computer, and energy engineering, along with electrical engineering technology, of course. Our manufacturing umbrella includes automation systems integration engineering technology, mechatronics and robotics engineering technology. Industrial engineering includes industrial engineering tech and supply chain and sales engineering technology. Then we have the mechanical engineering technology sitting alone by itself, but still a really good program and really good experiences to focus on applying those engineering concepts and skills. And then our last department, Technology, Leadership, and Innovation, focus more on the people side of business and technology experiences. First off, our Engineering Technology Teacher Ed program. So if you have any STEM-related courses, or Project Lead the Way is one example we hear a lot of our graduates going and teaching in middle school and high school. That's where our students are really kind of thriving. It's the #1 ETTE program in the nation. And we also have graduates that go into different industry settings and train and develop the employees working in manufacturing settings, for example, because they have the technology background and how to educate and train. Then we include our human resource development program, training and developing employees, and our students are actually working in augmented reality and virtual reality training programs to build in that technology on how to have those kind of conversations and development trainings when they're ready to go, when they're out in the workforce. And then organizational leadership, looking at the large scale supervision, project management, changes in organizations, and how you manage technology and incorporate the business practices along with that as well. So really good opportunities here overall within the Polytechnic. I want to talk real quick, and Amy, you might want to touch on this as well, at least in terms of the College of Engineering's aspect of the Polytechnic and Engineering Polytechnic Gateway Complex. This is currently being built. This is opening in January 2023, but is the largest financial investment in an academic facility that Purdue has ever made. It's going to include brand new instructional spaces and labs, state-of-the-art equipment, technology experiences for our students in both College of Engineering and Polytechnic. So we're really excited about this brand new building that's coming online in just a couple of short years. So just a quick overview and recap about the Polytechnic unique learning environment here. Again, deep technical knowledge going into the theory and the science in your lecture sections of your courses, then applying those skills in those lab experiences. Relevant experiences to the real world, the senior capstone projects, industry-sponsored projects, and internship experiences we're going to help you find. And then problem-solving skills, thinking critically and innovating, thinking back to that Tech 120 course and how you incorporate that with all the other classes that you're taking. And then we build in communication courses as well through composition, public speaking, really to help you be not only technically sound, but then when you're working in teams of people and managing those projects, you need to be able to communicate as well. That's really important to incorporate that as well in our programs. And then I work in the Office of Recruitment, Retention, and Diversity. So you please contact us with any additional questions you might have beyond what we're seeing here tonight. There's our phone number, techrecruit@purdue.edu is our email address. So we'll work with you on finding the fit for your interest, your passions that you have. We work with student organizations and academic support, retention initiatives, recruitment camps, as well as we work with high school counselors and parents and family members on helping you find a good fit for you as well. And then we work with encouraging and appreciating the diversity that we have here on campus. So again, reach out to us, let us know what kind of questions you have, either through the chat or the Q&A, and we'll hopefully hear from you soon. So with that, I'll turn it over to Amy.
Awesome, thank you, Ryan. Good evening, everyone. Let me go ahead and get my screen shared here. And we're going to talk about the College of Engineering at Purdue. So you have a lot of, I love the Purdue Polytechnic Institute. In fact, I hold both my bachelor's and master's degrees from that college. So it's really exciting to be able to represent both here this evening and on campus. So let's go ahead and get started talking about the College of Engineering. So a little bit about Purdue Engineering. We are a top 10 when it comes to the US News and World Reports. We are consistently around 8, 9, 10. We're at number 9 currently. We're hoping to work harder to get higher up. However, MIT loves to be at number 1, so bumping them is a little bit of a challenge. We have 2,000 undergraduate research projects going here on campus, so you can get involved with everything that you're interested in, whether it's in engineering or elsewhere. 85% of our students will graduate with some type of industry experience. That's co-ops or internships, and we're going to talk a little bit more about those. The average starting salary with the engineering degree, with the bachelor's degree, is $70,109. 97% of our students are going into the have plans after graduation. About 70% are going to the workforce, remaining percentage go on to higher levels of education. So if you're thinking about med school or law school, engineering or Polytechnic are great avenues to do that sort of thing. So it would prepare you for the breadth and rigors of those programs. But if you get to med school and realize that's not the right fit, then you have some great degrees to fall back on. So that's always important to keep in mind. We do have 100,000 living alums worldwide. Our alums love to give back and love to get involved. So if you would like to get to know a Purdue Engineering alum in your area and you don't know one already, let us know. We can get you in contact with them. So these are our top 10 reasons why we love Purdue Engineering. The first year engineering program, we have a lot of collaboration across campus. One of the things about Purdue is it is very collaborative. Homework's designed to work in groups, and even some exams are designed to work in groups. So think about how you want to learn. If you like that collaborative atmosphere, you're going to find that at Purdue. So as you're talking to schools, and listen for that sort of thing. Balance of theory and practice is very important. You need to be able to apply what you're learning in the classroom. Life beyond engineering, we'll talk about that. Professional skills do matter. Access to companies, Ryan's already talked about all the companies that come to campus, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Breadth of choice, don't wait to innovate. High expectations, we do expect a lot out of our students here at Purdue. However, that results in a lot of companies that hire from Purdue as well. And a friendly culture of support. So Purdue and Purdue Engineering is a large engineering college with a small community feel. You'll notice here that there are over 10,000 students in the College of Engineering. They're coming from all 50 states and over 120 countries. You'll notice that our in-state, out-of-state, and international perspective there. We are a foundation of diversity. We have the first women in engineering program in the US. We also have the second highest number of bachelor's degrees awarded to women in engineering. We are the birthplace and founding chapter of the National Society of Black Engineers, or NSBE as they're known. As Ryan's mentioned, there's 1,000 student organizations and clubs across campus, so there's a lot to get involved in. 100 of those are within engineering. And there are 5 cultural centers across campus. To touch base really quickly on kind of the differences between engineering and engineering technology, we are very fortunate to have College of Science, College of Engineering, and the Polytechnic Institute. When we're talking something specific like computers, College of Science, this is very general, and Ryan can correct me also, but when it comes to computers, College of Science is going to look at the ones and the zeros and how to develop code. So that engineers are going to take that, they will be able to develop code as well, but they kind of take what scientists create, and then how do we actually build it to create a solution? And then engineering technology comes in and figures out how we move it forward in next generations. So as you see here on the slide, engineers have the fundamental math and science to be able to apply to the challenge that we're facing and take it from research to complex analysis, all the way up to prototyping. And typically this is where engineering technology will come into play. They will take the product and move it forward on through production, analysis, distribution and sales, and next generations. Because of their education, engineers could work anywhere along this spectrum as well. So again, computer science is coding ones and zeros. Engineering is applying the hardware and software and figuring out how that talks together. If you think about the iPhone, we are on like generation 11 of the iPhone. And engineers would have figured out how that hardware and software come together for the first iPhone. Now that we're on to multiple generations, engineering technology, they figure out, okay, how do we improve upon that original one? How do we get this out to the masses? How do we make sure that there's a variety of sizes and shapes and colors? And so that's a little bit of the differences between the three. So student enrollment by area. Within the College of Engineering, there are 17 different majors to choose from, and each one has its own kind of flavor, so to speak. So I like to say we have 80 different flavors. As you'll notice here, electrical and computer engineering is the most popular with over 1,600 students, followed by mechanical. Aeronautical and astronautical engineering is very popular as well. Purdue has sent 26 astronauts to space, which is very exciting. Industrial engineering, another great growing area. That's kind of where engineering and business meet. Chemical engineering, if you are interested in working for a petroleum industry, while we do not have petroleum engineering, you could do that through chemical engineering or really any one of the other majors. We have both biomedical and biological engineering. So that gives you a chance to figure out which one's the right fit for you. Environmental and ecological engineering is a growing area. We also have interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary. These allow you to custom tailor the degree based on your interest. So we have students that are interested in theatrical engineering that are doing that, but we also have students that are interested in amusement parks and designing roller coasters. And so they're focusing on that as well. And nuclear engineering is a really exciting field and growing. In fact, I heard of one of our faculty members who is actually doing research on bubbles. Yes, you heard me, bubbles, like you blow with the little wand in the water. So pretty exciting stuff. However, everyone starts in first year engineering. What this does is that gives you a chance to explore all 17 different majors and figure out which one's the right fit for you. It gives you time to choose before you have to make that final choice of which major you're going to go into. So during your first year, you're going to take core classes like calculus, physics. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But then that gives you also a chance to succeed. So you're learning to think like an engineer and problem solve like an engineer. So you're going to go from your first year engineering, transition into your major for your sophomore through senior year. Then after graduation, you'll go on to your career or graduate school, whichever you choose to do. First year engineering options. Again, this is your kind of your foundation to Purdue engineering. The Ideas to Innovation class is the original sequence, 2-semester sequence, where in the first semester you're focusing on career design, and the second semester you're focusing on how to think like an engineer and problem solve like an engineer. So then around March or April of your second semester is where you're making that decision, and you go online, click on a drop-down box and choose your top 2 choices of major you want to go into. There are other options for first year engineering, including ethics, which is a project-based class. There's the Goss Scholars, which is an application-based course, and the vertically integrated projects, which is more research-based. So depending on which flavor you're interested in first year, you can choose which one to go into. And as I mentioned, you're going to take core classes as well, such as calculus and science and communications and some other electives. The goal of first year engineering is to have shared goals between teams. So you're working on a team of 4 right from the time you start in engineering at Purdue. The focus is teamwork, it's problem solving, critical analysis, and career design. All of those things working together to help each other succeed. When it comes to internships and co-op opportunities, across campus, we had on average 1,700 companies come to visit. And those are unique employer visits. So GE might visit multiple times, but they're only counted once. There are over 30 career fairs. At our largest student-run job fair, pre-COVID, we had on average about 380 companies come. That was during 1 week to talk to our students about co-ops, internships, and full-time jobs. The great thing about internships and co-ops is they can help you pay for college. And plus you can work anywhere you want, whether that's here in the US or internationally. As you'll notice, the average salary for engineering students on a co-op or internship is $20 to $30 an hour. Engineering students do not work for free, and I think that's really important to know. For most STEM, it's not working for free. Global engineering, just like the Polytechnic Institute has a department dedicated to their students, we do as well. It's called the Global Engineering Program, and they will help you coordinate that global experience. So whether you want to work overseas, do research overseas, or study overseas. If you want to go for a week on up to a year, they're going to help you figure all that out. Of course, it is engineering, and a lot of times we get the question of, can I have a life and do engineering? And the answer is yes. We want you to have fun on campus, and it's important to have that work-life balance. So yes, our students are involved in some of those 1,000 student organizations. There are 100 engineering club groups on campus, and then also 5 cultural centers that we've mentioned before. Our band is phenomenal. So if you are interested in band, yes, you can do that as well. We do not have a music major on campus. However, 75% of the students at Purdue are studying STEM. So 75% of our marching band is STEM students. So whether that's engineering or technology. We believe fountains should be run through, so that is one of the things we encourage students to do, whether it's dance troops or it's our little Grand Prix. That's lots to do on campus. So once again, my name's Amy Glenn. I am the Associate Director of the Office of Future Engineers, and here's our contact information. Again, if you would like to get to know an alum in your area, if you want to talk to a current student, or if you just have some general questions, please feel free to reach out to us. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so we can have Ryan come back on, and let's take some Q&A.
Yeah, Amy, I just want to follow up as well, because I know you have a great student group that works with you in your office, and we have a group of student ambassadors who have been great about meeting with families, even now when they come to visit to campus, and our website includes their email address as well as their major and the experiences that they've had. So feel free to reach out to our ambassadors or contact us, and we can get you connected with them as well. Oh, I think, Amy, you're muted.
Thanks. We had 150 people visit our office on Monday. So it was busy for us and our students.
Yeah, I think it's getting to that high school spring break time right around now. Good question. What % of undergraduates live on campus? What about juniors and seniors? So I think it's about 95% of incoming freshmen live in one of the residence halls through university residences. And I think roughly 50% of those continue to live in the residence halls beyond that. Juniors and seniors can, after your freshman, and even with that, there's no requirement to live on campus at Purdue as a freshman. You can live wherever you would like to. There's plenty of apartment complexes and houses to rent, things like that. So yeah, I think roughly about 50% of students continue living on campus after their freshman year.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ryan, is that students love to live on campus because they have access to the dining courts, which is phenomenal food.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to cook for themselves once they move off campus. So.
And that's the good point is the food is really good here too at the dining courts. And one thing in addition to that, there's several different learning communities, both within Polytechnic, and I know College of Engineering has plenty as well, to live with other students in your area, in your major, that interest area, take classes together and participate in different activities together as well. So those are good ways to kind of build that community as you come in as a freshman as well.
So we have a question here that is, what is the system at Purdue with regards to minors? So really, you can minor in almost anything you're interested in. There are a few courses or programs that overlap so much that you can't minor in it. But we really encourage students to do that minor if that's something of interest to you. Now, double major is something we get a lot of questions about. I'm not sure if you do, Ryan, or not. So we don't recommend double majoring unless it makes sense. Because it really is just going to take more time. Now, we do have some 5-year programs. So we have some engineering, a bachelor's with an MBA or a bachelor's with a master's. So if you wanted to do something like that, you could, but minor is most certainly doable.
Yeah, and we have the same thing, the 3+2 or 5-year program as well, and 3 of our departments here. And for at least for us, for Polytechnic, and getting a double major within the same academic department, far more feasible than getting something in a completely different college on campus. That's where that challenge comes into play for sure. But yeah, minors, go for it.
Yep. So I see a question here for asking if there's a cap on the different majors within engineering. And the way it works is, so March or April of your first year is where you go online and you list your top 2 choices. And then what happens is, based on, it's called transition to major, or T2M. There's certain classes that you need to have completed, and as long as you have a 3.2 GPA and a 3.2 engineering admissions index, that leaves out things like band or ROTC, elective courses that aren't required for engineering. You are guaranteed your first choice of major. This is something we get a lot. Some of the more popular majors have a little more restriction when it comes to the numbers that they can admit, but they're always growing as well. Ryan talked about the new Gateway complex that's going in. And one of the cool things about that is because, for example, aeronautical and astronautical engineering is one of our more popular majors. Right now it's a little size restricted because of space. But once the Gateway complex is built, many offices or departments that are in the Neil Armstrong Hall of Engineering are going to move to that Gateway complex. That's going to open up space for labs as well as classrooms for AAE. So it will be able to grow. And that's happening in 2022. So Purdue's always looking at how can we accommodate students where they want to study, whether it's engineering or any one of the other majors across campus.
Yeah. Another question, I think I want to touch on this before we run out of time. I know we still have about 10 minutes or so, but when will in-person tours be available? Currently, the Office of Admissions has been offering outdoor hour-long tours of just overall campus. Those have been booked up for a while though. So keep an eye on the admissions visit page to see when they start offering those or continue offering those. And I think they probably will throughout the summer. Not sure about formal information sessions, because I know we used to do those, and I know Amy, your group does as well. Maybe in the fall. I'm just guessing, but who knows? Keep an eye on our respective college pages and our visit sections to see when those are offered or if those are offered. Because I know we do everything we're doing right now is virtual, with the exception of when we get requests to meet with students or some faculty members every once in a while as well. But right now it's really just look at that virtual visit site, connect with us that way, and then hopefully in the fall we'll be able to offer those again as we see vaccination numbers increase and COVID numbers hopefully going down.
So I see one here, which engineering major works hands-on with robotics the most? And when it comes to robotics and engineering, I always ask the question, what part of the robot are you interested in? So if it's the materials used to create the robot, that's materials engineering. If you're interested in the brain components of the robot, that would be electrical and computer. If you're interested in the mechanics of it, that would be mechanical engineering. And then industrial engineering is working with a robot on campus called Baxter that's used in surgeries. And they're trying to train Baxter on how to actually be a little bit smarter, not run over patients that are on an operating table, you know, that sort of thing. So really almost any engineering major could do work with robotics. Now, Ryan, how you guys have robotics engineering technology, is that correct?
Yeah, so that's really kind of blending together electrical, mechanical, and the programming aspects of it. So you're getting all three sides that are incorporated within manufacturing. It's again, it's part of our manufacturing engineering technology umbrella. But there's certainly, like Amy mentioned, healthcare robotics. We have a robotics research lab. Dr. Richard Voiles is in charge of that, where undergraduate students can work and work on. And we have a Baxter robot over there, and they've actually started working within the last few years on some artificial intelligence interaction robotics as well. So it's not it's kind of creepy looking, but there's just this kind of mannequin looking face that has a digital projection on it that interacts with people as it walks by. But so yeah, that's the major you'd look at in the Polytechnic, at least for specifics related to robotics.
So one I want to touch on, because this does impact both of us as well, is when do research opportunities start? And really, I would say research can start from almost day one, depending on, if you do your homework ahead of time. Purdue has what's called the Office of Undergraduate Research, OUR. And so you can go online and see what research projects are going on, and you can talk to faculty before you even hit campus and maybe connect with them. So it is possible. I would say most certainly after your first year, you can get started in research though as well, more on the formal level outside of class projects. Brian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the undergraduate research office is great, as well as just connecting directly with your faculty in your classes. They're the ones who are in the labs working on their projects, and building that relationship is really important to see what are they doing, how you can get involved as well. So before you get to campus, and then once you're here, connect with them as soon as you can to see what kind of opportunities they can help provide you with.
Okay. So Question about advising. So how do we describe the advisement system? I'm going to guess that this is academic advisors.
I'm guessing that too. And I think yours is a little bit different because you have your first year engineering advisors and then they go into their major advising, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So with us in the Polytechnic, you're assigned an advisor before you get to campus. You meet with them during summer transition, advising their registration. We call it STAR, and this year it's going to be virtual STAR. So connect with them over Zoom or whatever works and talk about your plan of study. There's some modules that you complete online before you do that. And then just have that conversation. Here's my major that, they know what major you're coming into. What are your career goals? What kind of maybe potentially AP or dual enrollment or IB credits are you bringing to campus to help with that plan of study and figure out where those credits are going to get placed. And then you do your pre-registration process and get to see what your fall semester is going to start looking like pretty soon. So yeah, and they work with you throughout the entire time that you're at Purdue. So it's a 4-year commitment there, and they really get to know you and help you through all the processes that you're going through.
So Ryan, I'm going to bounce this one to you because apparently I didn't explain it well. It's late in the evening. So how would you describe the differences between engineering and Polytechnic?
Well, at least coming from the Polytechnic side of things, again, we're really focused on applying the engineering technology concepts and principles and design. So again, lecture with that lab experience. And I think more specifically, and you can maybe go into a little bit of this for specifics for your area, the math level is not as high. The physics is more of a general physics. So we typically, most of our majors have applied calculus 2 as the highest we go into. You can certainly go beyond that if you're interested in doing that for sure. But it's not as much the theory and design, but more about taking that information and putting it into practice, I think is the best way. I've described it in what our faculty have talked about as well, and how we go into that application focus, really.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Ryan. In fact, I like to describe it, I like to start describing it the way Dean Bertolini from the Polytechnic Institute talks about it is, he said it's the fundamental math and science that engineers have, and students from engineering technology don't take those levels typically. So yeah, engineering is going to take Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, differential equations. There's a lot of math and there is a lot of science, but there also is a lot of projects too. So almost every course within engineering, any engineering class you're going to take is probably going to have a project assigned with that. In fact, I talked to one of our faculty members in chemical engineering recently, and he said he went away from doing individual projects in his class to doing group projects. So he assigns teams to work on projects because he finds that that's just real world. That's how it really is in the real world. So engineers figure out how to take that idea, apply the fundamental math and science to bring it to life, and then kind of hand it over, I think, to engineering technology to say, okay, now let's figure out how we apply this in next levels.
Just real quick, there's a couple of questions I want to pop in on. Financial aid, Division of Financial Aid at Purdue. Google that. Great information about scholarships and how they work here at the university. And then I just shared in the chat, so different than the Q&A, the link to the AP credits in College Board and how that gets applied to Purdue. And you can find the IB credits through that same website as well. And I know we're getting close on time. So a lot of great questions. Please contact us, send us emails, techrecruit@purdue.edu for the Polytechnic.
And future-engineers@purdue.edu for the College of Engineering. We'd love to hear from you and answer those questions.
Absolutely.
So Christopher, you want to take back over?
Yes, thank you very much. Obviously, your presentations connected with the attendees from all the questions that we got. So thank you for your time this evening. Attendees, we certainly thank you for spending your time with us this evening. Before we do end this session, just a few quick housekeeping items. When you close this window, you will receive a very quick 4-question survey that we ask that you take a minute and complete. There are 2 other blocks of sessions this evening, as well as sessions tomorrow. So please do sign up for those if you haven't already done so. And again, about a week from today, a recording of the session will be available on that same registration website. But again, thank you to everybody, and college students. Good luck in your college search. Have a great evening. Good night.